I'm Jacqueline Sustaita, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This regular board meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date and is on YouTube Live right now. The time is now 5:37 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. I'll now begin the roll call. Trustee Rodriguez. Trustee Cuellar.
Present.
Trustee Castillo.
Present.
Trustee Trevino. Trustee Nieto.
Present.
Trustee De Los Santos. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is in attendance. We'll move on to item number 3, the invocation.
If you would be so kind to bow your heads and let us pray. Heavenly Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, we come before your mighty throne of glory to honor, praise, and glorify you. Thank you for the gift of life, health, family, friends, and strength and ability to work to provide for our families. Thank you for your faithfulness and protection over the lives of our students, staff, and families. Without a doubt, to this very moment, you have been a very present help in every one of our lives. Father, we ask you to continue to bless and grant greater wisdom to our Superintendent, Dr. Richard Rivera, and our board members. Bless them and their families beyond measure for their service and sacrifice for our community. Thank you for the heart you have placed in them to serve. Father, may your will be done in our board meetings, not our will, but yours. The decisions made in this room have a lasting impact on our students and community. May we always maintain integrity in what you have left in our care. Bless our administrators and teachers with wisdom, integrity, patience, and the physical and mental strength as this year progresses. Bless us all with strong support from parents, teachers, and the community. Provide for all the needs of our district, as there are many. Above all, bless our students with divine protection, physical and mental health, and providence. May their homes and our classrooms be filled with love and support. We ask you all this in your precious and mighty name of Jesus, and everyone says, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Trevino, the Director of Assessment and Accountability. Now we'll move on to item number 4, which is the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. And Mr. Buttimer will help us out.
Thank you. Good evening. At this time, would everyone please stand, place their right hand over their heart, and turn towards the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'd ask everyone to remain standing, right hand over their heart for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buttimer. Next, we have awards and recognitions.
Yes, Madam President. Tonight we're going to recognize the Central Middle School Band under the awards and recognitions. And we're going to do things just a little bit differently. We're going to recognize the students as they walk in, and they're going to shake every board member's hand. And then they're also going to receive a certificate from Mrs. Taita. And then we'll take a group photo. Okay, but first, let me tell you a little bit about why we're recognizing the Central Middle School Band tonight. Tonight, we want to congratulate Central Middle School for 2 remarkable achievements. The Central Honors Band has been invited to perform at the 2024 Texas Music Educators Association Convention to be held this February. The band was unanimously selected through a rigorous region and state competition process, and they are the only middle school band in the state that was selected for this prestigious invitation. The students will premiere state-level music that has been arranged and composed specifically to celebrate this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Also, the Honors Band has received the Mark of Excellence Award, designated Central's Band program as a national winner. Head Band Director Moises Garza will be presenting a clinic where music educators from across the state will learn how the Central Band program has implemented the transformative elements of teamwork, student leadership, relationship building, and accountability to reach success and national recognition. We congratulate Mr. Garza and his assistants, Michael Perez, Alfredo Noriega, and Mario Vallejo. And now let's honor the students. We start with section leaders representing Central Middle School Honors Band. Emily Palomín. Up next, we have Ava Ruth. Also, we'd like to recognize Jesus Valladares. Up next, we have Brandon Hill. Next, we'd like to recognize Andrea Guzman. Angel Luis de Jesus Morales. Okay. Up next, we have Andre Munoz. Step up a little bit so we can make some more room. There we go. You can stand right here. You can stand right here. There you go. Got a few more. Jake Camarena. Okay. Up next, we have Eliezer Esquivel. Chloe Gonzalez. Let's recognize Emma Sid. Also representing the Puma Band are band officers, Secretary Clarissa Esquivel. Clarissa is also a section leader. We'd also like to recognize Vice President Eva Perez. And we'd also like to recognize the Puma Band Officer President, Milani Garcia. And Mr. Garza, how about Moises Garza? He can come out now and be recognized for his great work. Also, once again, also like to recognize Mr. Noriega and Mr. Mario Vallejo as well. Okay, and now we're going to take a group photo of everybody.
Can you squeeze in?
Yes, squeeze in, guys.
Once again, congratulations to the Puma Band. Also, congratulations to their parents. If the parents are here, can they please stand and be recognized? Any parents that are here? And that concludes our awards and recognitions for tonight.
Thank you. Way to go, Central Band. I've heard great things. Great job. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6, proclamations. And I'll be reading the proclamation for today. Weslaco Independent School District has a long-standing tradition of excellence and strives to bring together all resources to provide our students and staff with the best opportunities for success. To that end, Weslaco ISD acknowledges and celebrates initiatives, departments, and organizations that join in our efforts to develop, expand, and enrich our learning environments for students, parents, and employees. Therefore, I, Jacqueline Sustaita, President of the Weslaco Independent School District Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim October 2023 as National Family Literacy Month, and we also have College Application Month and the National Scholarship Month. We proclaim in October 2023 Bullying Prevention Week, which is November 13 to 17, that I see November 15 to 19 on the slides. National Parental Involvement Day, November 16, and Weslaco ISD urges all citizens to recognize with appreciation our district's commitment to education and helping our children achieve their highest potential. So congratulations to those people who are all involved in making all those events happen. Thank you very, very much. Okay, that takes us over to public comments. Mr. Martinez, do we have any?
We have one.
Okay. Thank you. Can we please have the person who's going to speak come up? Good afternoon. Can you please say your name?
Julianne Valdez Perez.
Okay, and your address?
My homestead is 1103 Stone Street, Weslaco, Texas. Sorry.
It's okay.
Good.
You know the drill. Okay, so I'm going to read a small paragraph to you, and then you're going to have 5 minutes to speak after I finish reading. Pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act, the Board of Trustees may not deliberate on any comment made by a member of the public on a subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. As per the Texas Attorney General, the scope of a board discussion for a subject not part of the meeting agenda is limited to only a proposal by a board member to place a subject on a future board agenda. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion on or debate on matters being considered by the board unless recognized by the presiding officer. No public comment presentation shall exceed 5 minutes. Any disruptive behavior by any speaker may result in the speaker's removal from participation in the meeting. Please be mindful of using names or personally identifiable information, as there is no immunity from defamatory comments while participating in public comments. Dr. Rodriguez, our secretary, you'll go ahead and have the timer. He'll let you know when you have 1 more minute left. You have 5 minutes, you can go ahead and start.
Hello, like previously stated, my name is Julie, and I'm here to speak against publicly go against the $160 million bond for the school district. This bond is, I realize that there is need. I used to be a teacher for the school district. At the same token, I don't trust that this money is going to be spent like the way that is being outlined. $325,000 were spent for a Weaver report on 9/20/21. And there was no accountability. I mean, like 2 people resigned or something like that, I don't know. But that was it. There was clearly more corruption through inappropriate HR hirings, and nothing was done to those people. So now you expect, well, me, I'm speaking personally in my, and other people in the community have had a similar opinions. You expect me to entrust you. You couldn't even spend $325,000 like the way, what should have been the outcome of it. You guys want $160 million? And for those of you that are out there watching this, they have Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D. So even if the bond doesn't pass, they're still going to try to get the loan out for this money that is needed. Somehow, they're going to try to get this money, or they're going to get the money. But I'm here to say, if you don't want this bond to pass, if you don't agree with it, then don't vote for it. I encourage you all, the community of Weslaco, not to vote for it. There has been no accountability. The assistant principal that got hired without even applying for the job is still on the campus. The principal that was complicit in this corruption, still, he's at central office with a promotion. Now, whether it's a promotion or not, It's optics. The optics is, it's a promotion. If you guys are really serious about this $160 million, then there's something that I want, and I think you owe to the people of Weslaco, the community, and that is that this whatever procurement process or whatever, whoever gets the bids, that they be completely transparent. I don't know what the legalities are of how to do this, but those companies that get awarded this project, assuming that the $160 million gets passed, they should give you an itemized list or like an itemized bill, and they should have included there all the subcontractors. I want to know who they're subcontracting to. I want to know where this money is going. It's $160 million. And if you guys are really serious, you'd have a serious conversation on how to make this happen. How do you account for this money? What's going to happen to this money? How do we ensure that this money is not going to be, I'm not going to say misspent, I'm not making accusations here, but how do we know that it's going to be responsibly handled? And who's going to get this money? Because that needs to be known, that needs to be transparent. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Do we have any more public comments, Mr. Martinez? Okay. We'll move on to item number 8, Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. I have 9 slides to share with you. The first one is on page 2 is the enrollment and the first 6 weeks ADA. You see all the schools that are listed. You see the enrollment as of 10/6/73 and the ADA for the first 6 weeks. And then to the right, you see the goal. On Sam Houston, the enrollment 750. The ADA for the first 6 weeks 96.26. Silva, the enrollment 616, ADA 95.25. Gonzalez, the enrollment 630, ADA 95.47. Margot, 1,055, the ADA 95.33. Airport, enrollment 797, the enrollment 95.05. Memorial, the enrollment 1126, the ADA 95.26. North Bridge, 753 enrollment, 95.06, the first 6 weeks ADA. Rico, 821, ADA 96.33. Kleckler Hill, 946, ADA, which was the highest, 97.86. Ibarra, the enrollment 492, the ADA 95.11. Maryhill Middle School, the enrollment 919, the ADA 93.99. Cuer Middle School, enrollment 592, ADA 93.92. Central Middle School, 1,089, the ADA 95.73. B. Garza, the enrollment 952, ADA 95.06. South Palm Gardens, 75 enrollment, 96.72. East High School, 2,137, the ADA 92.3. Weslaco High School, 2,702, the ADA 93.65. As a district, was 94.72. So the number of students much higher than last year, about 800 higher, is 16,471. On page 2, I want to go over the bond election, $160 million in Proposition A, B, and C. School improvements, A, and you have the needs that are there, the roofing, HVAC, student restrooms, safety and security, campus renovations, technology. Proposition B, the fine arts, HVAC, safety and security, fine arts expansion, renovations and upgrades. In Proposition C, athletics, stadium upgrades, the field house remodeling, running tracks, and the tennis courts resurfacing. All a total of $160 million. And there's no way a district can borrow, if it doesn't pass, no way we can borrow this amount. The most we could borrow would be probably $5-6 million. On page 4, there's an update on what we have done as far as making the presentations. We just gave the facts. It's up to staff, to citizens to decide. We've gone to all the schools. We made presentations on A, B, and C. If passed, the homeowner would pay only 33%. The Weslaco ISD remains the lowest tax rate among the big 5A, 6A districts. Second bullet, the Weslaco ISD 160 million bond filter is on the district and campus website. There's a video aired on KWES. There are about 4 different videos explaining the needs of the district. The early voting starts on Monday of next week. I have met, the board had a committee. I had a committee. We've already met to discuss the needs of the issues, again, presenting the facts. Principals are meeting with the parents to present all the facts. And the bond election flyers, will be distributed to all the families. Weslaco ISD video was presented on the scoreboard during the Weslaco High Panther Harlingen game, and also the Weslaco East Donna game. And I also I met with the city, with the mayor, city commissioners, and made the presentation. So this is what we have done. I can say again that the voters will decide, and we're giving you the facts. I can say that my credibility is very important on this. I was here 16 years, and I can assure the citizens that if it passes, the money will be spent wisely. There'll be no issues that we don't monitor, and it will be spent wisely. Again, my credibility is here. I can assure you that if it passes, the needs will be met, and if it doesn't pass, then we'll go ahead and continue doing the best that we can, but the needs will still stay there in the district.
Dr. Rivera,
Yes.
I really can pause you there really quickly. Whether you're here or not, whether I'm here or not, what will be the plan, as was brought up in public comments, to keep the community abreast of what has been spent? You know, I've seen web pages where the transparency is there on the financials and what's been spent. We have financial information on our website right now with Weslaco ISD. What's the plan, or what plan can we possibly think of to keep the community aware of what has been spent? What can we do to keep, so that the community doesn't worry about us misusing the funds?
It'll be done every month at these meetings. We'll tell you exactly what we've done. Very transparent. I can assure you there's no hidden agenda. Every month, I will tell you exactly what we have done, what needs to be done with the money. Again, very transparent. Mm-hmm. Nothing to hide.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera, for confirming that.
On page 5, this is a self-funded health insurance. I've got some good news and some bad news. You can see that on top, compared to last year. In 22, the claims, the RX, the fixed cost, the total was $22,216,000. For this year, the claims, RX, fixed cost was $23,374,000. So the bad news that we were in the red, $1,157,000. Again, being very transparent with you, nothing to hide, giving you all the facts to you, to the board, to the community, nothing to hide. So we're in the red. The good news, you see on the bottom, we funded for this year, $20,079,000. We spent through August, $23,374,000. So again, we're in the red, $3,295,000. However, the good news is that we had the extra funding for $3,490,000. So by this, we actually have a fund balance for 23 of $195,000. Now, on the bottom, you can see the previous year fund balance is almost $2 million plus the $195,000. So our fund balance in health insurance is almost $2.2 million. And again, it's there just in case this year we go into the red, we have a little fund balance to make up the difference. To the right, you see the rebate information. We received the payments in April, July, and October of $1 million. That was used again to balance the health insurance budget. So again, the bad news, we're in the red. The good news, we found a way to make it up, and we still have a healthy fund balance of almost $2.2 million. On page 6, I want to report the number of claims that we had. Let me just go back a little bit. I think I skipped page 1. Let me go back to page 1. I started with enrollment. On page 1, let's go back to page 1. Some bad news, again, being transparent, but then some good news. So last year in 23, the previous administrative superintendent budgeted at $15,700. So the actual ADA was $13,800. So because there was a big difference, when I came in, the budget shortfall, again being transparent, was $16 million. So for this year, we budgeted the ADA at $14,000. And I'm proud to report, again being transparent, that the first 6 weeks, the amount was $14,502, which amounts to almost $6 million more that we can continue. So on the bullets, on A, you will see that the budget, again, January when I came in, being transparent, the budget deficit was $16 million. In August, different things that we did, the budget deficit was reduced to $9 million, again, mostly through reduction in staff. So in August, we were in the red, $9 million, again, being transparent. $9 million, and most of the funding was originally funded through ESSER. Many staff members were funded through ESSER instead of local. Now they have to be local, so we have to get them back to local. So we had a plan: increase the ADA, increase the enrollment, reduce overtime, increase collection for property taxes, and then reduce the cost with full-time substitutes. And again, on D, again, since the first ADA refined was 502 students more at 8,500, again, the ADA for the first 6 weeks, we continue to be higher. It's almost 4.2 million. So also with the SASE monies, another 1.2 million. So now from the original 60 million deficit, we went to 9 million, and now it's 3 million. So we're in the red right now, 3 million, and by May, we're going to make this up. So again, be very transparent with you. Like I am with the bond election, this is what we're doing with the ADA, and again, I'm very proud to say that the budget is almost balanced now on the deficit that I received. Since I skipped 1, now let me go back to where I was. On page 6, this is the self-funded workers' compensation. The amount that we budgeted was $460,000. So we spent $435,000 on workers' comp. This is the final plan. So for the fund balance, like with health insurance, right now our fund balance in the self-funded workers' comp is almost $200,000 in case something bad happens this year. So again, we're okay with the health insurance, we're okay with the self-funded insurance, again, being very transparent with you, like I am for the bond election. The mental health, this is very important to the district, important topic. We want to make sure that we provide assistance, that if someone has problems, they're not alone, we'll find a way to help. So Senate Bill 460, required presentations with campus staff, has been completed. Mental health resources presentations with students has been completed. A mental health resource flyer was provided to every student with a code to request a counselor or social worker. The CTHATT, Texas Child Health Access through telemedicine, is currently receiving referrals from Weslaco ISD. Dr. Status worked with providing training to the counselors, the social workers on the good side, telemental health referral process. Social emotional learning, the school climate and safety pattern survey will be administered to students on October the 10th, and the survey results will be given to our administrators in November. So again, very, very important, being our kids are not going to not be alone if they need any kind of assistance. Again, being transparent. On page 8, we have the audit planning for 23. And right now they're working on getting the all the statements, and we're doing this for a year. I also mentioned to the board that soon we want to hire an internal auditor to be able to check, again, being transparent, to check the business department, to check HR, if things are done correctly. So the findings should be given to you in November on this annual financial audit. The last slide that I have is the TA updated preliminary campus ratings that was released in September. It's the final release may not happen, but right now we have the scores should they be released. I'm happy to report that some schools increased their ratings. Airport went from an 84 to an 86 to a B. Kleckler held from 89 to a 91, a B to an A. Margot 82 to 85, a B, an increase. Memorial stayed at 93, an A. Northbridge 79 to 82, they went from a C to a B. Raul Gonzalez 94, an A. Rico Elementary 74 to 75, still a C. Rudy Silva 74 to 75, still a C. Sam Houston 85 to 89, a B. We're hoping again with a little more checking everything that we need to, that'll be 89 will be an A. That's the goal that we have. Ibarra 78 to 84, a C to a B. B Garza 81 to 84, a B. Central Middle School 89 to 90, a B to an A. Cuellar Middle School 71 to 73, still a C. Mary Hogue went from 67 to 69, a D. And we're hoping again after final review, hopefully that D will be a C. South Palm Gardens 96, an A. Weslaco CTE 91, an A. Weslaco East High School 81, a B. Weslaco High School 88, a B. And these are the scores. They'll be released if the state decides to release them. This is my report. Again, a very good report as far as the budget, as far as the bond election, as far as being transparent. So does the board have any questions?
I'll go one by one to ask him. Dr. Rodriguez, any questions?
No, thank you, Dr. Rivera.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coach Cuellar?
Very good report. I like the direction we're taking with the financial.
Thank you.
Trustee Castillo?
Yes, I have a couple questions and comments. On the ADA doc,
Yes.
that's awesome. Those look like almost pre-pandemic numbers.
Yes.
So congratulations to the principals on that. That's amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
And to your leadership. I know
Thank you.
superintendents call me asking me for your sheet. So
They get a report every week.
so that's awesome. On the bond election doc,
Yes.
I think some of those comments in public comment are to be taken seriously, other than not to support it. But on procurement, I think we do need to be super transparent, and if we can get several options from your administration, from your CFO on what are the best procurement methods that we could do to manage this construction if the bond does pass, like a construction manager, or what would be the best option for that size of a bond, right, to be run the most efficiently and the most transparent. I think that would be good that the board has those types of options, so we could start going out for bids as quick as possible and all that kind of good stuff, and make sure that we get,
Yes.
like you say, 8+ people to oversee it.
Yes.
And then another suggestion on that, on our bond committee, on the board bond committee, and we could talk about this later, but I know some districts that go for big bonds, they keep either that committee kind of active during even the construction phase to kind of oversee, or to at least where there's a community kind of aspect of reporting on the construction projects, and it's just like another level of transparency. And I think that would be something cool for us to look into.
That was our plan, again, being transparent.
Awesome.
We're going to have the committees. There's 7 of you, times 214, and again, they'll oversee the projects and come to the board with options and recommendations.
Oh, that would be.
But again, the goal is we're going to spend the money wisely and correctly. There won't be any abuse.
Yeah, no, that would be
Now,
great.
if something happened before in past years on whatever it was, I was not here, I have no control, but it's been corrected.
Yes, sir.
I can't go back and change anyone that's still working here. I can't do that. But I am monitoring everything that happened in that report. Take it very seriously.
Yes, sir. And, one thing, I think if it does pass, I want us to take that opportunity to be kind of the model of how in the valley or even in the state to run these types of bond programs, so everybody could kind of copy what we do moving forward. So we could get some ideas, kind of best practices kind of things, and just kind of try to set an example for everybody else. On the self-funded insurance plan, Doc, what's our plan to make sure that we don't continue to run in the red and we have to kind of continue to pull from fund balance? We have.
On the health insurance?
Yes, sir.
Again, just to monitor it. I forgot to add. On this one, on page 5, last month, we went ahead and rejected the proposal because it was incomplete. So now we're gonna audit this, hire someone to audit this from this school year to make sure that everything, there was no items that we paid more, that the claims, the RX, the fixed cost, that we followed to make sure that what we spent was spent correctly. And if something was done wrong, then I'll come back to the board here. And there's always the possibility, if things were done incorrectly with the audit, we can go out there and file lawsuits.
Awesome. Yeah, whatever we can do to kind of ensure that we minimize waste and ensure that the monies are being spent appropriately, that'd be great. Thank you, Doc, for your leadership on that.
Thank you.
On the mental health services, I only have a comment on that. And I know we've already spent a lot of resources in it, but I think whatever we can do to kind of go all in on mental health, there was a lot of good presentations at TASB on it. And, you know, one of the comments or the quotes that kind of stuck with me there was, let's not let today's child with a problem become tomorrow's monster, because they weren't addressed, right? And so I know that your administration and the board has really supported going on mental health, but whatever else is out there, I know Region 1 has a mental health program as well. I don't think that we're a part of that, and we don't have to be, but we could also kind of copy that program as well. But whatever resources we could give to our kids, that would be great. On your financial audit, Doc, on that slide, maybe on the internal auditor, if we do move forward with that, we could get that person to help us oversee the spending of the bond money as well, so we could, again, another layer of transparency and oversight. I don't know what your plan is.
I think it's a good idea.
I don't know what your plan is on how quick you want to hire that person, but I think that would be kind of maybe a good first assignment to help us on that and you as well.
Yes. Will do.
Sorry, I wrote my notes. I wanted you to finish your presentation. And then on the preliminary updates on the campus ratings, I know that the full final ratings are still pending.
Right.
I could give you kind of a quick update on that. We had Weslaco ISD is not part of this lawsuit, but my firm is leading it on behalf of about 100 school districts. We had a TRO hearing last week. The judge has not ruled, and we expect a ruling as to whether they will keep TEA from releasing those ratings probably by early next week. So I'll let you know so you could let your staff know as to what that is. But on some of these schools that, and none of them are bad, right? But we always want to get better. I know that the commissioner is pushing a program, ESF, I think that's what it's called. And I know some districts are going all in on that, whether they're low performing or not. And Dr. King is kind of coming up with and it's not for this year, but I think it's for next year, kind of an initiative called ESF for All. I mean, I think it's something that would be worthwhile looking into, because I think the history of it, where ESF has been implemented, they've had good success, right? So, yeah. But when the Weslaco board meetings are on the same day as the Region 1 board meeting, so I get to hear all those presentations before I come here.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just thought that was a really cool thing, and if it's something might be worth looking into.
Will do.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Castillo. Trustee Nieto?
Mr. Castillo mentioned everything I was going to mention, but no, appreciate it. Dr. Rivera, good information on the bond, on financial stability. Also to the principals and your staff, your teachers on the ADA, they've done very well. Of course, also on the preliminary scores, some schools had A's, some had B's. A couple of them have C's, but I believe, Dr. Rivera, you and your staff are working with those schools that are a little bit below to improve this year for next year.
Exactly.
But principals and teachers, especially teachers working in the classroom, have done an outstanding job. But the leadership of all the principals and your staff, I commend you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nieto. Well, we had the lawyer's point of view and we had the principal's point of view, so now we come to the teacher. And my thing, I just wanted to point something out that took me into, I guess, like the aha moment. And I know the slide isn't up there, but the school ratings, when I was looking at this, I noticed the proportional weight. There's a column there that says proportional weight, and all the elementaries it was 28%, and then the middle school and high school, it was 72% of the weight for the district's rating. And as a teacher, when I was in elementary, I thought, we're working really hard. Well, of course, we all work hard. I didn't ever realize, though, that it was 28, well, not just, every year it changes, right? I'm assuming? Or no, it's the same every year, just this year.
In the updated accountability, this 23, the cycle that concluded 2023 is new.
This is new, okay,
That's
see.
part of the new accountability. So the STAR 2.0 and the new accountability, that's a portion.
Okay, that's good to know, because as you know, I was looking at this, and I'm sure a lot of the teachers didn't even know this. But my point in bringing this up is because middle school and high school, a lot of our focus, and like I said, we focus on everybody at every grade level. But middle school and high school is really one of our board goals that we're going to talk about Lone Star governments probably in a little bit. But a couple of our goals are about focusing on literacy and math in the 6th grade and the CCMR in the high school, and several other goals. So I just wanted to, say congratulations, because everybody's doing a great job. Keep it up. The teachers are working really, really hard. I know sometimes they feel very pressured, and what else can I do? I'm doing so much, but they're just doing an outstanding job. Everybody is. I just wanted to thank you for everything you guys do out there. I know how it is. I've been there. I know. One question that I had, though, how are we doing with the numbers in classrooms? I know that we had a waiver signed. It was 22-1. I've still been hearing a little bit of, we have too many kids. It's tough. Are we still adjusting? Are we done adjusting? How are we doing with numbers with kids in classrooms as the ratio with teachers?
We study it every week.
Okay. So we're still, there still might be adjustments, or it is what it is already?
We hired about 2 or 3 more teachers for
Okay.
tonight based on the numbers.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much for everything. All right, any other questions, comments?
I just want to say thank you to all the teachers for your hard work. I know it's already October, so thank you to all the teachers.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, one more, well, I'll ask you later. It was about the ADA, but I'll ask you later. All right, so we'll move on to item number 9, presentations. And that would be, I guess I'll just go one by one. I'm not sure. First one we have is Texas School Safety Center's District Audit Report, DAR, 2020 to 2023 Audit Cycle. This is a presentation by Mr. Aguilar, our Deputy Superintendent. Mr. Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. DeVetta, members of the board, good evening. What you have before you, you have a welcome packet there. Starts off, welcome to the Texas School Safety Center DAR tool. That's a survey that is required through the Texas Education Code. It requires each school district to conduct a safety and security audit at least once every 3 years. So our cycle audit that just concluded was from 2020 through 2023. The audit cycle ended on August 31st, and our deadline to submit was September 15th, which we met the deadline. The Texas Education Code also requires that the report be presented to the Board of Trustees. That's why we're here presenting tonight. What the audit report, it's roughly about 150 plus questions. It expands on the questions yes and no, depending on how they're answered and they're reported. The purpose for this are the results for the safety and security audits are compiled by Texas school districts so they can compile a statewide report. So these questions, they're broken down into sections. And the criteria, what we have is Section 1, District Demographics. Section 2, Safety and Security Information. Section 3, School Safety and Security Committee, which some of you have the opportunity to sit in. Section 4, Emergency Management Information. Section 5, Behavioral Threat Assessment, Suicide Prevention, and Trauma-Informed Care. Section 6, Bullying Prevention, Policies and Procedures. Section 7, Active Threat Exercises. And Section 8, Additional Safety and Security Information. Again, A lot of this information, we speak it daily. This is something that we work on. A lot of these questions are just common practice for us on what we're doing, but it's a checklist that we go through. Brief summary in the report, and you have that report in front of you. I'm not going to go through the whole report, but just to give you a couple of talking points that they had there. They were discussing more on the instructional and non-instructional when it comes to audits. What we are in compliance for are our instructional, which are all our campuses, which I do want to commend our principals and our staff on each campus because they've done a tremendous job without having any demerits or any findings. So congratulations to them. They do a wonderful job with that. Safety and security committees, that's something that we have active going on. Our multi-hazard emergency operation plan, that's something that was presented earlier in the year and it was adopted by the board. Again, they focus on hazard analysis of district facilities. That's something that our maintenance department and our principals, and we work closely on that to identify any needs that we have. Reunification plans, behavioral threat assessments, suicide prevention, bullying, active threat training, after action reviews, and security personnel. Again, it's also a checking point for us to check the temperature on anything that we need to strengthen or improve within our district. So that's my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Okay, we'll go one by one. Mr. Rodriguez?
I don't. Thank you.
Coach Cuellar?
No, but this looks pretty intense, you know, a lot of stuff to answer and stuff. And it looks like it's very honest. I see a few no's in there.
Yes, sir.
But you were in compliance with what was required.
Absolutely. So on those that were no, just to expand on that, Coach Cuellar, if there was a no, it kind of just branched out a little bit. To give you an example, a couple of the no's that we had, security audits, non-instructional, that wasn't a mandate that we had. We were focused on the instructional. So when they said non-instructional, that was a no. So we're answering honestly on those. A couple of other no's were, do we employ law enforcement? No, we have an MOU, but we're not the actual employers. So there's some that kind of expand a little bit more, and that's why we answered no on them. But if there's anything that we need to address, then we'll address that. Another one was multi-hazard EOP policy to district property. That's something that we can look at our policy and update on there. Another one that we had to know, when you see it, is the behavioral threat assessment committees. They asked that the board assign one. No, but we do have them within our districts. Those are district and campus assigned, but that's something that we'll move forward with. But there was just a few that were no.
I'd like to maybe have a plan to make those no's into yeses. So whatever we need to do to be compliant with those for the non-instructional facilities or, you know, and having somebody, what you just mentioned right now, let's go ahead and get that done
Absolutely.
for the next
We
board
will
meeting.
work on that.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Castillo?
Yeah, just to comment, just thank you to you, to your team, to all the principals for keeping all our babies safe at school. And whatever you guys may need from us, I know Dr. Rivera is he's a big proponent of school safety, and I think this board is too. So whatever resources y'all may need, please don't hesitate in coming to us and asking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I know for the record, Dr. Rodriguez walked in at 5:45 p.m. to the meeting, and Mr. Trevino was here at 6:24 p.m. And we're going over a safety item. Mr. Nieto, any
I think
questions, comments?
Does our district have the following plans in place? Some of them we mentioned no, but I guess we're going to make a correction on those.
Correct. And some of them we do have partial.
Right.
And just since if we were missing a key word or something, we just wanted to be transparent and indicate no on there. And it's something that can be easily corrected. Okay.
I appreciate your transparency, Mr.
Yes.
Aguilar. One of them that I did notice also, if we do hire somebody to help out with a consultant, obviously, I'm reading here, there's some kind of a Texas School Safety and Security Consultant Registry, and we're required to use that. So let's make sure that we use that so we're compliant.
So good question on that. We had a crisis reality training for the active threat. They just weren't under the registry.
Okay.
And this one was recognized at a national level. That's the one that we had last year come and present to all our staff. So we did.
Okay.
We also had our local sheriff's department. I know Mr. Reina was instrumental in bringing that one in, and we had that presentation in place at that time. So we did bring in some presentations.
Can we get a follow-up on the no's as far as kind of the corrective actions when they turn into yes? I don't know, maybe in a couple of months?
Absolutely.
Mr. Trevino, I know you just walked in, but do you have any questions on this Safety and security packet?
No, I have none.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Aguilar.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next we move on to the presentation of annual tax collection report for fiscal year 22-23. That is from July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023 by the Hidalgo County Tax Office. That is Mr. Pablo Villarreal.
Thank you, thank
Welcome.
you. It's an honor to be here before you, Madam President, board members, Dr. Rivera. As a matter of fact, my assistant told me it was yesterday, so I was on my way. He says, no, it's tomorrow. So I'm always excited to come over and tell you what we're doing throughout the year. In front of you, I think you have this report. Tab number 1. It's a breakdown of base amount, penalties and interest and attorney fees. The total current delinquent and rollback taxes for base, it was $28,129,902.45. Under penalties and interest, we $700,875.84. Attorney fees $237,396 for a total collected for the Weslaco ISD $29,068,174.43. If you go to tab number 2, on tab number 2 is the current collections. Under current collections from last year, we had for 2021, 2022, had a base amount of $25,989,535.16. This year, we had collections of $26,890,153. We did collect $900,608, 18.22 above last year, so for a total percentage of 94.49. The next page, it's a 5-year comparison from 2018 through 2022. 2018, we had a 95.24, 2019, 95.38, 2020, 96.28, 2021, 95.26, and 2022, 94.49. And the part under tab number 3, we have the delinquent tax attorneys, and I believe they're here to make the presentation. So the rest is pretty much just information related to my report. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Or
We'll go ahead and I'll go one by one. Trustee Rodriguez, any
No,
questions?
sir. Thank you for the presentation.
thank you,
Trustee Toya?
None, but thanks for your presentation.
thank you very much.
Trustee Castillo?
Yeah, one quick one. Thank you for your presentation, sir. I know last week you had a press conference on the tax notices.
Correct.
So are our taxpayers going to get 2 tax notices because we're going out for a bond?
The Weslaco Independent School District is not on that
Okay.
8. Out of 44 taxable entities, I collect for 42 at the county tax office, and 8 school districts, which is La Jolla,
Yeah. The one's going out for VATRE.
Mission CSD, McAllen, I think it's Hidalgo, PSJ, Progreso, and Monte Alto. Those 8 districts we're going to have to wait for them to get the approval rate on November the 7th. After that, then we're going to go ahead and give them the file, and they're going to go ahead and send out a second mail out.
Okay.
So when I send out tax statements here, probably the end of the month, those districts will not be included on the tax statement. But for Weslaco Independent School District, everything will be there. The city, the school, and the county. So-
Awesome. So our taxpayers don't have to worry about that?
No,
Okay,
they don't
great.
have to.
Thank you. Trustee Trevino, any questions?
No.
Okay. Trustee Neto?
Thank you for the information.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the presentation by Purdue, Brandon Fielder, Collins, and Mott, LLP, Delinquent Tax Attorneys Firm of the Delinquent Tax Collection Activity Report for the period from July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023. Hello.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Rivera, and members of the board. For the record, my name is Iram Gutierrez. I'm the managing partner of Purdue, Brandon Fielder, Collins, and Mott's Valley office. Also here with me is is Janelle Caso, my associate attorney, Romeo Cantu, communications director, and Joel Quintanilla, client liaison. And I'm here to present you with the collection report for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 23, your fiscal year. And if I may, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the collection activities during this period, and also the audit and appeal services that we provide to Weslaco ISD as well. The collections program for Weslaco ISD is designed with an emphasis on working with your taxpayers and trying to resolve their delinquent tax problem, and use litigation only as a last resort. To that end, our office has made contact with your taxpayers, over 9,100 contacts during this period. We have mailed over 10,800 letters informing the taxpayers of their delinquency, and we have performed 750 address updates during this period. As I stated, we try to avoid litigation if at all possible. We have also conducted 184 field inspections. That is, we try to visit the taxpayer at their home, or if it's a delinquent business, we try to visit them at the place of business. Once we contact your taxpayers, they're not always able to pay in full. So when that happens, we enter into payment agreements with your taxpayer. During this period, we have entered into 50 payment agreements with your taxpayers, involving over $155,000 in base tax owed to the school district. If all those efforts do not have the desired effect, that is, collection of your taxes, we do proceed to litigation. During this period, we have filed 112 new petitions involving over $952,000 in base tax owed to the school district. We also represent you in federal court for bankruptcies. During this period, we have filed claims on 22 cases involving over $22,000 in base tax owed to the school district. Once we take a judgment, we continue working with your taxpayers, trying to get them in, trying to get them to pay. But if those efforts do not have the desired effect, we do proceed to tax sale. During this period, we have put 21 properties up for tax sale. 8 of those properties sold, bringing in over $70,000 in taxes owed to the school district. 12 properties resulted in payment agreements. As I said before, up to the last day, up to the date of sale, we continue working with the taxpayers. If they come forward and they want to enter into a payment agreement, even though the property has been put up for sale already, we will enter into payment agreement. 12 taxpayers came forward, and we entered into payment agreements or payments in full involving over $99,000 in property taxes owed to the school district. In the auction, if no one bids the minimum bid, the property gets struck off to the taxing entities. During this period, 1 property was struck off to the taxing entities, and that will be put up for resale at a later date, that is. As requested by the school district, none of these properties were homesteads. Of course, all of these efforts are geared to one goal, and that is the collection of your property taxes. During this period, we have collected over $1,047,000 in base tax and an additional $448,000 in penalties and interest owed to the school district for a combined $1,496,000. Moving on to the Audit Appeals Division. During this period, we have filed 3 audits for the school district with TA. Those years were for the 2020 tax year, and 2021 tax year. 2 of those audits, the 2020 and the 2021, were certified by the comptroller and accepted by TEA. The school district has already received $627,000 for the 2021 tax year and $96,000 for the 2020 tax year, for a combined $723,000 in additional state aid for the school district. We have 1 pending audit for the 2019 still with the comptroller. As I stated, the school district can look back 3 years to see if any changes were made to the property values here in the school district that affected the 2019 tax year. So we had filed already one for the 2019 last year, brought in over $600,000 to the school district in additional state aid, and we have another one for 2019 pending. We believe the district will be receiving additional state aid for that year as well. The last thing I want to talk about is the Texas Homeowners Assistance Program, and I'm going to let Bromilka to tell you a little bit more about that.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, and Dr. Rivera, Romeo Cantu, the Communications Manager and Taxi Manager for Purdue Brandon. So let me continue this part. This is the Texas Homeowner Assistance Fund Program. You may have been seeing this on television. There's been a lot of advertisement. Our firm worked real closely with Paul from the tax office in implementing this program. So if you don't know, we were in Hidalgo County the pilot program for the entire state for this program. So this began as part of the Texas Homeowners Assistance Fund Program, which is funded under the American Rescue Plan of 2021, the act of it. Purdue Brandon participated in the pilot program, again, as it launched right here in Hidalgo County, and it gave eligible homeowners grants to cover past due mortgage payments, property taxes, and other fees, so that including their homeowners' fees. So this is one of the things it helped to pay for. So I'm going to, next slide, please, Carlos. So for the whole state of Texas, and this is as of September 27th, and I just got off the phone with them yesterday, but as of September 27th, the Texas Homeowners Fund throughout the state, households assist 52,000 homes and families throughout the whole state. Of that, $582 million from the government went to help these people. In Hidalgo County, again, we were the largest, so we were here for part of this pilot program. Hidalgo County had 4,121 families helped with this. Total assistance paid was over $27 million. I narrowed it down for Weslaco ISD, 2 zip codes in particular, which are your 78596 and 78599. Households in your area, 303 families were helped with this program. That's over $1.9 million. There are still about 20,000 applications out there, because I talked to them yesterday. The program ended September 9th, so they are no longer taking applications, but they are processing those that we had. Our office was very instrumental in talking to the taxpayers, letting them know this program was out there, sending them information, showing them the application process, and working real closely with the county to also make sure that this program went through for them. So I will let it now go on back to you, Don.
That concludes my report, and I'd like to open it up for any questions you may have.
Do you have any questions, Trustee Rodriguez?
Mr. Gutierrez, on the audit side of things, what is it exactly that's being reviewed?
Which one again?
The audits?
Oh, the audits. As you know, most of your funding it comes from the state. It's a very complex formula to determine how much the district will get. But generally speaking, the higher property values you have in your local area, the less state aid you're going to receive, because they're assuming that you're going to receive more local tax dollars to fund your school district. So it's very important that the state doesn't have a higher value, taxable value for you than what it actually is. So if we see that the state has a higher value, and there's been adjustments to your tax roll due to lawsuits, homestead exemptions, et cetera, if we see that has caused the actual taxable value, local taxable value to go down, it's very important to let the state know that what you thought was at one time is now an actual lower value, and therefore the school district deserves more state aid. So by going back and looking at the tax years, because you know your roll is certified in June, but changes are happening further down the line. You know, for 3 years you can still go back and go to the state and say, hey, we've had changes to our tax roll, and we deserve more state aid. That's what the whole point of this work is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Cuellar, any questions?
None, but thank you for your report.
Trustee Castillo?
Thank you for the report, and Romeo, I like your tie.
Trustee Trevino?
No, sir.
Okay. Trustee Nieto?
And I guess since the last few years with COVID, a lot of taxpayers had difficulty paying, so a lot of this assistance help our people pay, for whatever taxes they needed to pay, correct?
Absolutely, Mr. Nieto, and that's the part we played. If we knew a taxpayer was delinquent on their homestead, because this only applied to homesteads, then we let them know there is a program that you can apply for, and many people did, and many people received funding that helped them pay those taxes.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Thank you very much.
Information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gutierrez. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
Thank you, too. Okay, we'll move on to the last presentation. Oh, I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yes, we're going to have our tax, probably just give one more comment.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Mr. Villarreal?
He asked me on the homestead exemption, on November the 7th that the homestead exemption Proposition 4 is going to be out there. So for our taxpayers to go out there and vote, for it. Right now, the exemption is for the school districts is $40,000. So once you vote on behalf of it, it's going to go up to $100,000. So you're going to save at least about close to $600, depending on your tax rate. So I would encourage people to go out there and save that money that the voters are going to hopefully approve. And the other thing is that the tax statements that we're sending out, it already reflects the as far as the state was concerned. They told us that we had to go ahead and put it like if the election had gone through. So if you have a $100,000 home and you have a homestead exemption of $40,000, once I send you the tax statement, it's actually going to be zero because I'm adding the $60,000 in there, so it's at $100,000. If for whatever reason doesn't go through, then the state told us that we need to go ahead and send another supplement back because maybe it doesn't go through. But I know that our taxpayers for Hidalgo County or the state of Texas are looking forward to saving some money. So just thought I would let you know on that.
What is the name or the number of the proposition that?
I think it's Proposition 4.
Proposition 4. So vote yes for Proposition 4. You want to save money.
Yes.
Okay.
For the homestead, going up to $100,000. So it's good for all of us.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Proposition 4. Thank you, Mr. Villarreal. All right, we'll move on to the Bilingual ESL Education Program Report. The presentation is by Mrs. Beatriz Solano, the Assistant Superintendent for School Leadership and Instruction, and Mrs. Maria Moreno, Bilingual Coordinator. Hello.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President, board members, and Dr. Rivera. This is our annual Bilingual Education Program Report, and you have the report in front of you. Basically, what we have at Weslaco ISD is we have a transitional bilingual early exit program for our elementary campuses, and this is for pre-K 3 through 5th grade. And the goal at the transitional bilingual early exit is to, of course, exit the students as early as possible. Secondary, we have our ESL content base, and we also have our pull-out program. And the goal in secondary is to provide that support for our secondary students from 6th through 12th grade. On the next slide, you have the number of students enrolled. Right now, we have 26% of our students district-wide that are bilingual, emergent bilingual students. That's 4,344 students. So here you have a breakdown from pre-K 3 all the way to 12th grade on how many students that we have. You also have a list of numbers of students that have been reclassified by grade level from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. On the next slide, you have our district TELPAS results. And these are color-coded because in TELPAS, we test 4 domains, which is listening, which is in red, speaking in yellow, reading, and writing. And the area that we've been really focusing on is our speaking and our writing. So all the staff development that we have been providing district-wide for our teachers has been focused in these 2 areas.
Ms. Moreno, these are from last year, right?
These are 2023, that's
okay,
correct.
So like the kids right now that were in kindergarten are in 1st grade right now?
That's correct. On the next slide, you'll see our elementary STAR data. And as you can see with our elementary, and if you look at the scores for reading, math, and science, for the most part, our emergent bilingual students are about 9, they average about 9 to 10 points lower than all of our regular students. In middle school, you have reading, math, science, and social studies. But if you see here, and I know that Ms. Ustaita, you talked about this, you see the gap kind of getting a little bit bigger, right? So here you see that in middle school, the gap grows. So instead of about 9%, you see it go from like 12, 13, 14 points. And so this is why our input's really important, and we've been inputting a lot of staff development with our secondary campuses because, of course, accountability is 72% for our middle schools and high schools. And so we've been focusing a lot on bringing Region 1 over and making sure that we have instructional coaching and that they help us and guide us with PSYOP strategies for the high schools as well. And a lot of the trainings that we've been focused on is on secondary. So the next slide is our high school scores. Again, you see here the gap gets bigger. Now it's closer to 20%, the difference between our regular students, our emergent bilinguals. So that's why we have been focusing a lot on secondary. On the next page, you're going to see, and if you click the slide, and if you had an opportunity to look at it, we have a comprehensive plan. Like Dr. Rivera says, we're trying to be transparent here, right? So basically, we have the amount of funding that we have for our 165 fund is $1,115,659. Because we are a district that is on an exception and a waiver, 10% of that funding has to go to staff development. So if you see this, you can see on the slide that we have, it says $115,465 is spent on staff development, and we have our comprehensive professional development plan set out for the whole entire year. So every training that we have has been something that we've been focused and working on since July. It's not something that we add on. It is a working document. If there's something that we look at and we know that we need help or guidance on it, we will add it. But for the most part, this plan was created with the guidance and with the help of Region 1, and then also looking at our data and looking at our STAR data, Delpas data as well. And so then the last part that we have is the information that gives us how many teachers district-wide have received staff development. So far, if you can see, we have from pre-K all the way to 12th grade around 522 teachers. Right now we are working, we have inputted a lot of money. We have our inputs in Summit K-12. Summit K-12 is a program that's very similar to Telpas, so we purchased that, and we also will be training our pre-K teachers with the help and the guidance of, the elementary principals. We all work together, and we are going to be bringing in training for our pre-K teachers as well, because we know that that's an area of need. And that concludes my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Trustee Rodriguez, any questions?
No, just a comment. Thank you so much, for all the hard work everybody's doing with this here.
Yes, thank you.
Trustee Cuellar?
Same as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Trustee Castillo?
Yeah, I have one, and I don't want to get into a debate or anything, but I just want to pose a question, and maybe we could have a meeting on it next semester or whatnot. So I know you have the two types of programs, transitional and dual language, right?
Right. We don't have dual language.
Yeah, I know we don't have dual language here.
We do not. It is something the district pushes. The state. The state is advocating, right? Because what they want to do is graduate multilingual, biliteracy, multiliterate students.
Yeah.
So that's the goal of the state. But right now, our district is just pull out content-based.
So I came up in a transitional program when I was in school, right? And so back then when I was in school, they called us LEPs. I don't think they call that anymore, right? They're non-English learners.
Emergent bilinguals.
Emergent bilinguals, there you go. And so Spanish was my first language, but this program, it works so well. I understand Spanish, but I can't really speak it that well. And so, in some of the districts that I represent, they go all in on dual language, and it looks awesome. But I don't know, because I'm not an educator, right? So, Doc, maybe at one point next semester we could have a meeting on kind of seeing the pros and cons, and maybe if it's right for Weslaco, because that's also a big component, whether the community wants it as well for their kids. But if it's okay, we kind of look into it.
I'm okay, yes.
And to answer your question, we had tried something like this last year, but I guess it kind of just fell through.
And actually, we did have a campus that was dual language before, which was Silva Elementary. It was a dual language campus under Dr. Rivera. It was a dual language program. So we have had that program before in our district.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so if we could kind of look into those two different options and kind of see what's best for our community, and we can kind of have a thoughtful discussion on it.
And the goal for the state is not only to have it in elementary, it's to actually have it elementary, middle school, and high school, because the idea is to graduate multilingual biliteracy students.
Awesome.
Es correcto. Trustee Treviño, any questions or comments?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Trustee Nieto?
I know the bilingual program, the state had asked for teachers to be certified bilingually, correct?
That is actually we have to be compliant. That is chapter 89. We have to be in compliance, and they need to be bilingually certified.
So how many teachers do we still have that are still working on that?
Currently, we have 31 teachers that are going to be added to an exception that might change because numbers keep changing, right?
Correct.
But right now, we have 31 elementary teachers that'll be on an exception, and we have 9 teachers that are going to be on a waiver and 10 on a permit. Because every year we have to decrease our numbers that when we apply for the exception and waiver for the state,
correct,
we have to decrease that amount by 25%. So the goal was to have 37. Right now we have 39.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at those numbers and working with HR to get our numbers where we need to be at, but we'll get there. We'll meet.
And the state When is the final date?
November the 1st is when we have to apply for the waiver. We're going to apply for a waiver because we have teachers that are not certified.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My question, Ms. Moreno, is looking at the star rating for every campus, and I don't want to single anybody out, but Mary Hogue, I know that they were at a D, right? And I'm looking at their numbers. Emergent Bilingual Star Data Middle School. They're almost double or quadruple of what all the other schools have. So our job as board members, those inputs, what are we doing to help support and give these schools what they need to help these kids? Because they have a lot more emergent bilingual students in the program. I don't want to say the I statement with Lone Star Governance. Kids in emergent bilingual programs, what can we do to help?
So one of the things that we're doing, Dr. Rivera approved, and it will be going to the board tonight, 2 paraprofessionals to be helping out. And the plan is to have those paraprofessionals help those feeder schools. So one paraprofessional will help the feeder school with the high schools and the other one with elementary. And that person will have a schedule to help pull out those students using Summit K-12, which is something that we've purchased district-wide. Every week, I pass out or I distribute the usage of that program. That program is very similar to Telpas because we're focusing on our emergent bilinguals. One of the areas that was low as well was our constructed responses and our extended constructed responses. Summit K-12 allows and has a practice for our students, especially in the domains of writing, in the domains of listening and speaking. So those paraprofessionals will be going in to the secondary campuses. We're going to focus by feeder schools and pull out those students, not during their core content areas, but during the other areas to work with those students and work with them on Summit K-12. And that's going to be any student who's a beginner or an intermediate, because that's what the state wants us to do. So that's one of the plans that we have.
Okay, that sounds great. I mean, maybe, when we meet again, those quarterly reports or whatever, we can keep monitoring and assessing to see if that's going up, that's increasing.
And what we've noticed, the trend is that like the feeder schools to Weslaco East High School is almost 50% are emergent bilinguals. And that's one of the things that, I mean, if you look at the scores, that's why Mary Hogue is where they're at, because they have almost 50% of those students are emergent bilinguals, and the feeder school is Rico. So we're going to be helping them, providing support, training them, and helping the teachers as well, providing supplies. I mean, I don't know if you all haven't had an opportunity, but the bilingual department, Dr. Rivera and allowed us to have it there. We have trainings there. We have teachers who come and make copies, and they get supplies. We have everything for them. Our teachers are provided with everything that they need.
That's great.
So now we're going to go in there and we're going to provide that support as well, because that's what we're here for.
That's great. And I have been hearing very positive feedback that they feel very supported, and that's great to hear from you also. So thank you so much to you and your team for helping them. Appreciate it.
Whatever we can do as a board to help y'all, because being bilingual is not a weakness, it's a strength, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So what can we do to strengthen that strength so their scores could be up to par?
I think most importantly is that our inputs are where we look at the data and we're data-driven, look at the areas of need, and that's what we're doing right now. Every single training that we have provided has been looking at the data, bringing in training for constructed responses, bringing in training that's going to help our students with the reading, with the writing, below-level students. So everything has been set since the beginning, looking at the data, looking at our weaknesses, and looking at how, so that our outputs are where they need to, and our outcomes at the end are going to be higher scores. And my thing is going to be, when I see our emergent bilinguals perform better than all our students, I'm going to be happy, because that's my goal.
Awesome.
Thank you so
love the
much.
vocabulary.
Inputs, outputs, and outcomes. We know all about that. Thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
You have the board support.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to, any other questions, discussion? All right. Item number 10 is the consent agenda. I think we've all had time to look through it, so I'll go one by one. If you need to pull any items out or not, you can let me know. Dr. Rodriguez?
I have none.
Okay. Trustee Cuellar?
I have none.
Trustee Castillo?
None.
Trustee Trevino?
I have 2 items, items X, V,
Okay.
and items XVA.
XVA. Okay. Trustee Nieto?
None.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for item XV and item XVA?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Cuellar to approve the consent agenda except for item XV and XVA. Go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Trustee Nieto.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll go ahead and move over to item XV. Let me find it here on mine.
Which is,
XV, donation, Weslaco ISD. 10-5. Donation, Weslaco ISD. Approval to accept donation of corn tortilla chip snacks, Takis, yummy, valued at $23,000 from Bimbo Bakeries, Inc. for Weslaco Independent School District students. Mr. Trevino?
I requested to have this taken out for discussion, I guess. I wanted us to inform the public that these are not your normal Takis, as I've been informed. They're not your normal hot, spicy, you know, those types of Takis. Is that correct, Dr.
I
Rivera?
was told it's the classic potato chips, not the spicy.
So they're potato chips. Who could help us with that? They're popcorn and chips. They're not the spicy ones or anything. So I just wanted to bring this out there that way for the public, because I know there were some concerns out there, and obviously donations are always welcomed, and they're great when we have companies or people giving donations. But that was just something that was brought to our attention, and I'm glad you guys clarified that. So it's just popcorn and chips, non-spicy chips. Okay.
Now that you bring this up, though, where are they going to be using these? I thought we like the kids couldn't.
They're going to be using them as incentives.
Oh, okay.
Is what I read on them.
I know it's always been the big debate about, you know, the vending machine, that they're not available and the kids want to buy snacks, but there is a law, and I put it out there about when the Obama and Michelle Obama, and they have certain food that's required at the school, so we can't, as much as we want to give pizza and hamburgers and all kinds of yummy stuff, we can't. But that's what I was asking, so now they will be able to in other ways.
I don't know.
Okay.
So it was made very clear to the principals that we were not going to compete with the lunch school program.
Okay.
And it was going to be used for an incentive. And again, what was distributed was more of the natural flavor and regular corn chips. So it was the non-spicy chips that they received. I think Takis, we automatically assume that it's going to be a spicy bread, but we checked with the distribution, everything that they received, and that was what they received from the donation.
My little girl came home with some. Now, I didn't make the connection at the time, but now I am. That's awesome. Yeah, they're potato chips.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion for this item?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
second.
All right, we'll go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee Trevino?
Aye.
Trustee Nieto?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now, you said item XBA, but I don't see it.
X, B is in boy. A.
Oh, B.
Page 6.
B.
Mm-hmm.
A.
HB.
XBA.
Right, this one?
It's the approval to reject or rebid.
Okay, I see it. Item 10BA, Business and Finance, this is the Purchasing Department. Approval to reject and rebid proposal award for the Uniform Rental Service, RFP number 24-10-14. Mr. Trevino?
My concern on this is, who can help us with this? Mr. Robledo?
Mr. Miracle?
I looked this over. The companies that are bidding, and we're trying to make sure that we expand and open the bidding to anyone else that's out there. So once we bid it out, eventually we're going to have to select somebody if we don't get any good turnout after that.
Oh, I see here. You had two of them offer a bid. One of them didn't even bother to submit a proposal. And okay, so from what you're telling me is we're not happy with the services, I guess, that you're receiving from one of those?
Correct. It's just the experience that we've had with them, so we're trying to open it up again, and again, trying to see if we have more bidders come in.
Okay. That was just a concern to me.
This will delay in any way, like, that they are not having their uniforms, or they're still going to have like on a month-to-month basis or something?
Correct. Services continue with the existing company.
Okay. Any other?
Because are we going to change some of the specifications that we're asking for? I mean, these are the three uniform companies in the valley. I don't know of any others, or I guess we'll wait and see what else is out there, but You know, that is a concern of mine, just to have.
And so we're hoping also that, that going through this experience, that the vendors have already made themselves familiar with the specs that we're asking for, and in the next go-around that they meet all the specifications once they're more familiar with them.
Okay. Okay, that's all I was wondering.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion's approved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee Trevino?
Aye.
Trustee Nieto?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll move on to item 11, discussion item. This is the update on trainings, conferences, events.
Yes, on November the 8th, we're having the Veterans Day celebration in the stadium, November the 8th. And then on November the 16th, we're having the regular meeting in November on that date because of Thanksgiving. So November the 8th, Veterans Day, the board meeting on Thursday, November the 16th.
Question, Dr. DeVetta, for the bond committee, about thinking about events. What is the next, what do they do now that you guys met, you guys talked about this, and us too? What do we do? Are there going to be any events going on, or they just promote it by mouth on, social media? How does that work? I'm not familiar with bond committees and how all this works.
We met once already.
Okay.
And we'll probably meet again sometime next week.
Okay.
And to go over just information, procedures as to what can be done. And I'm going to invite the board to that one.
Okay.
Awesome.
So their job now is just to go out and spread the word
Yes.
to the
Yes.
community. All right.
But there's a meeting to schedule next week
All right.
with the committee.
Next week. Sounds good. Anything else from anybody? Okay, we'll move on to item 12, discussion and possible action. We have discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of the Lone Star Governance Board goals, the board constraints, and superintendent constraints drafted by the Board of Trustees at the July 26, 2023 and August 24, 2023 board workshops. And if I can get them here on my screen. Here, it's kind of popping open now. So just to explain to everybody that's here, and I don't know if it's up on, no, it's not up on the screen. The board is not required, but we voluntarily took on this Lone Star Governance training, which is a framework that we choose to focus intensely on student outcomes and very student-focused trainings. And not only but the board, but also part of the leadership team was there. So we're working together. And that's why you see kind of a difference in the board meetings now with the way they're set up and the way the agenda is being set up. We have board goals now. We have superintendent constraints. So I'm just going to very quickly just summarize what they are. HB3 goal, the draft board goal, we have 5. We can have no more than 5. Our first goal is to focus on early years literacy, which is 3rd grade students. And our goal is that the reading will increase from 49% in August 2023 to 60% by August 2028. So the board was going to be focusing on that goal. Our second goal is HB3 Goal 2, Early Years Mathematics. The math will increase. This is for 3rd grade. Math will increase from 43% in August 2023 to 60% by August 2028. HB3 Goal 3 is a CCMR. The percentage of graduates that meet the criteria for CCMR outcome bonuses will increase from 83% in August 2023 to 88% by August 2028. And then Goal 4 is the middle years mathematics. The percent of 6th grade students that score meets grade level or above on STAR Math will increase from 24% on August 2023 to 56% by August 2028. And goal number 5 is the middle years ELAR. The percent of 6th grade students that score meets grade level or above on STAR ELAR will increase from 38% in August 2023 to 53% by August 2028. And how are we going to make that happen? Well, we have to be observing and monitoring and checking in with leadership and the principals in the schools, and whatever we can do as a board to help you, and you have our support, and Ms. Dr. Rivera and the leadership team will bring to us recommendations, and we trust them to make the best decisions for the district. Any comments on the goals for the board?
I do, if that's okay. So Yeah, I want to thank the administration and my colleagues up here as well for taking on this kind of endeavor. We met on a Saturday and Sunday. We just didn't come up with these numbers. We worked hard all day on Saturday and Sunday. Well, I left early on Sunday. I'm sorry. Still feel bad about that. And then we met again, a follow-up meeting to kind of review actual data and come up with these 5 goals that Board President Sustaita just read. But on top of that, we also came up with constraints for ourselves and constraints for the superintendent. And if it's okay, if I could read those.
Yes, go ahead.
So the draft board constraints, and what the constraints are, what we as a body have, are the guardrails that we put on ourselves, that we promise and we put in writing that we will not do. So they read, the board, either collectively or through the actions of an individual board member, shall not, 1, engage in negative conversation or public behaviors that put the district staff and students, board as a whole, or the community in a negative manner or light. 2, mismanage time in a board meeting wisely by spending the majority of time focused on student goals, priorities, and needs. Publicly criticize any decisions made by the body, corporate, or administration. Support the school district procurement policy / process and recommendations made in the best interest of the district by administration and their committees by placing personal wants and self-interest aside. And the board shall not give or appear to give personal opinions, directives, and will direct community members to contact the appropriate school personnel after listening to community concerns. And 5, deviate from the board's operating procedures. And then as far as the superintendent constraints, these are the guardrails that we have placed on Dr. Rivera and which he has agreed to. Does somebody else want to read these, or do you want me to read them?
You're doing good. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, thank you. We put in attaining the board student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not allow our schools to be unsafe. And the superintendent shall not allow low-performing campuses to have inequitable access to resources. The superintendent shall not allow a low level of campus culture and climate. The superintendent shall not allow the financial health of the district to reach critical levels of stress. And the superintendent shall not allow adult/community convenience, preference, or private interest to take priority over the academic progress of our students. So these are the things that we worked on as a board and with the administration over a period of, I think, around 2 or 3 months, and we're really, really proud of these.
Very good for me, and I approve all 5.
And that's where those panorama surveys really come into play, and all those resources that we use to make sure that we are able to observe and monitor the climate of the district. So thank you, Dr. Rivera, and the team for everything you guys have been doing to help us achieve this. There's a vision and theory of action. We won't get into that. It's all online. It's on board books. If anybody wants to go into detail and read through it and what exactly the board goals and constraints and vision and theory of action is, it's online on board book on the website. So do I have a motion to approve these goals and constraints and vision and theory of action?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee Trevino?
Aye.
Trustee Nieto?
Aye.
Motion passes. That takes us to item number 13, closed meeting to discuss personnel matters. Texas Government Code 551.074. Discussion regarding superintendent's recommendation of certified personnel and non-contractual personnel. Number 2, discussion regarding superintendent's recommendation on resignations, retirements of certified professional and non-contractual personnel. Number 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.071. B, consultation with attorney regarding 1, pending or contemplated litigation, 2, a settlement offer, or 3, a matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Weslaco Independent School District under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551.071. It is 7:11 p.m. and we will meet in closed session. 31 p.m. and we have reconvened an open meeting. And for the record, Dr. Rodriguez had to leave at 7:30 p.m. So we'll move on to item possible action, if necessary, on items discussed in closed meeting. We have A1, discussion and possible action regarding superintendent's recommendation on employment of certified personnel and non-contractual personnel.
Madam Board President, if I may, could I make a motion to approve items A1 and A2?
Okay, do I have a second?
Second. Yes, second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee Trevino?
Aye.
Trustee Nieto?
Aye.
Motion passes, which takes us to adjournment.
Move.
So moved. It is 7:32 p.m. and we are adjourned.
Very good meeting.